Hey everybody, welcome to a new video. So today we're going to go over the updated version of my build, and as you can see there, I got a Mageblood. I farmed up some currency and got lucky, and people bought some stuff that I've had for sale for a while, and dropped 290 divines because it's in standard, and I got it finally. Pretty well rolled, Dex is nice, resistances aren't too bad. Max rolled strength, pretty easy. But I got those leftmost 4, which is the big one. So I'm going to go over everything that changed from the last build guide that I did. It's pretty sweet. I can't say enough about Mageblood. I was probably one of those people, like some of the people out there that, what's the hype? I kind of felt the same way about Headhunter. When I used it on my Tornado Shot build, it changed everything. Mageblood is no different. I'm a fan. Big fan, actually. Changed my life in Path of Exile. They're expensive. If you're playing in League, I'm gonna check right now and see how much they are in League, but with leftmost 4, 300 divines. So they're expensive. No way around it. But it's that next step for castoncrit, Forbidden Rite, and the next step, I'm sure, for a lot of builds. This is going to be kind of a long video, just because there's a lot to cover. So first thing is the flasks. So while it's cool just in general that you have 4 just utility flasks that are always active, it's what you can do with them to maximize them that makes the biggest difference. So I've got move speed, so 40% increased move speed, just a regular Quicksilver flask. Then you hit it with enkindling orbs, and what that does is it'll improve the effect. There's a couple different mods you can get, but you go for up to 70% increased effect, and the no charges during flask effect doesn't matter because they're always active. And then what you want to do is you just get the prefix of increased effect. So you can alt spam until you get it and annul, the suffix on it. And then if you don't have this crafted one, then you just buy Cinder Swallows and unveil them. You buy unidentified, unveiled ones. And, hope to unveil reduce mana cost of skills. If you don't, buy another one, unveil it. And then you just craft it on there, and it reduces the effect of everything. So my cyclone is 2, take that off, goes up to 4, Forbidden Rite 36, slap that on there, drops down to 11. So big difference. And then the increased effect, so character speed with just 96. It's pretty good. Drops down to 20. So, it's a big difference. Just literally walking around. There's that, and then I take it off, and that's how fast Path of Exile and Grinding Gear games expect you to walk without a flask. It's a little obnoxious. Same thing with, Withering Step plus Cyclone. Zooming around, take this off. That's how fast you move. So it's pretty significant. This is a big one for Cyclone, not being stunned. So if you get stunned when you're playing Forbidden Rite or any Cyclone build, it sucks because it stops you. It stops you from cycloning, and then you'll die. You can get this suffix on pretty much anyone. I just put it on my diamond flask, and then you do the enkindling orbs again. You get increased effect. Stun avoidance 113%. The reason for that is I have the implicit on here. 15% chance to avoid being stunned. So without that, it's at 98%. 13, 98%. So I could roll this a little better and get that extra 2%, and then I wouldn't even have to have that implicit because they don't make them anymore. You can't get them if you play in League or something like that, because it's a harvest enchant to add an implicit to a jewel. But you get, you know, increased effect, which is how it goes from 48 to 98. Same thing with the resistances, so this is the biggest one. So because I'm using Melding to the Flesh, it takes 70%, or -70 to all element of resistances. And the unnerfed one knocks it down -5 max resistances, but, you know, perfect rolled -70. So I'm at 90, 172, and 104. That's how big of a difference that this one flask can make with Mageblood. And, you know, it's not even tier 1 additional Ellie res. It's at 69% out of 70, so it's pretty good, but I mean, -30, 38, -44, bam, overcapped. That's one flask. You don't have to worry about quality on them. Some of them I just already had from before, and they had quality on them, but it doesn't make a difference because quality just increases the amount of time that they're active, and they're always active. And then armor, you know, this is a huge one. This flask for some reason is super expensive now. I bought it, like, I don't know, a couple months ago. I think I paid like 10 chaos for it. They did something with the increased armor. I'm not really sure. I tried to look it up. If you know why it's like this, you can drop me a comment. I'd be very curious to know why. It says 41 to 45, but it gives you 89. But yeah, so just dropping this flask, I go from 34,000 to 71,000 armor with one flask. As you can see here, I mean, it's pretty insane. I mean, even just taking this off, just a granite flask, it's 20 divines. I don't know if it's a legacy thing, they nerfed it and I didn't hear about it, but that's my guess. So yeah, I mean, that basically frees you up to get rid of, you know, your reliance on resistances on pretty much every single piece of your gear. I do need it on some, obviously, because my lightning res is, it's right there. If I can get this Eater Worlds or Syrian Exarch implicit up to plus 2%, then I'll be at 90. But it's a pain. You got to hit it with the Grand Eldritch Embers, and then you got to hit it with the Orb of Conflict and win twice. If you don't know how that works, basically the Orb of Conflict will raise one or lower one, raise and lower. So if I hit it with one, it could move the Syrian Exarch up a level, and then I have to do it again and move it up another level to get plus 2. It's expensive, and I'm super tanky already, so the 1% all max res, it'll make a difference, but it won't be noticeable. You know, same claw. Like, I was gonna go with the dagger, but I did the Path of Building, and for the cost to make one to try and get like a +1 all skill fractured, +1 all chaos skill gem fractured dagger, the cost just doesn't outweigh the benefit. I could do, you know, wave 30 Simulacrum, Uber Cortex. I did the Trialmaster today. So this one's super simple to craft. You can get any kind of fractured base Gemini Claw. You don't really need the mana per hit, but I already have it. So because of this, you know, your mana costs nothing. Plus this, which I'll get into as well. I think it costs 1 mana for Forbidden Rite, and Cyclone's free. But you get a fractured critical strike chance or attack speed or crit multi, and then you just spam it with essences for the whichever one you're missing. You know, if you have fractured increased critical strike chance, then you would, you know, spam it with zeal. If you have attack speed, then you can spam it with loathing, and so on. Just look through your essences, Google it, look on the PoE wiki for which one you need, and then you go hit it with a Veil of Chaos Orb, craft on Fizz as cold or whatever, unveil, and hope you get lucky. There's increased spell damage with non-chaos as extra chaos. There's increased chaos damage. So either one of them are fine. They both do the same thing. A spell damage and chaos damage, they count just the same for Forbidden Rite. Same helmet, still haven't got that +1 power charge. Same shield, just Aegis Aurora. Using Ashes of the Stars now, which is fantastic. Anointed Charisma. The main thing, obviously gives you +1 level of all skill gems and increased reservation efficiency, but the 28% quality. So on Withering Step, the second that I hit it, I get 11 withered debuffs just immediately on anything that's around me. That's why Anomalous Withering Step is important. So down there at the bottom, you get 4 additional debuffs because it's at 48% quality. It really only affects any kind of alternate quality gems. So has to be skill gem though. It can't be like a support gem. For the rings, I found this. It dropped in, I don't know if it's a Cortex map, some map. It was just increased attack speed ring. So I just hit it with deafening essences of envy to get increased chaos damage. And I did it until I got some fire res and energy shield and strength, and then crafted on non-channeling skills. I could hit these with a Fertile Catalyst, and I would use no mana, but it doesn't matter. You can if you want. Same armor. I pretty much did the same thing with this one. I bought an Iolite ring. For some reason, Iolite rings, Hunter Influence, are super expensive. Really makes no sense to me. Well, I guess there's one for 1 divine from a month ago, but 7 divine, but you can buy an Iolite ring for 1 chaos, and then buy a Hunter orb for 1 or 2 divines. Do it yourself. I don't know. Hit it with Deafening Essences of Envy until you get Cursed with Despair. It took me like 20. Yeah. It's RNG, so you could hit it on the first try if you want, if you're lucky. I got mana, which it's okay, I guess. I don't really care about the rest of it. Getting intelligence would have been nice. I guess it boost my damage or strength because I have Iron Grip on my Skin of the Lords. That gives you strength damage bonus, applies to projectile attacks. If you're not sure what that is. Every 5 strength you get melee physical damage. So every 5 strength I get 1% projectile damage. Gloves. Same thing on the other ones. You literally just get a good pair of gloves with armor and energy shield. You pick an essence, what you need. I need attack speed, so I did Zeal. So you get whatever other stats you're missing. You're still going to need res, even with this, just to fight that melding of the flesh. I got lucky and hit, tier 2 lightning res and intelligence. Suffixes cannot be changed. There's a lot of suffixes cannot be changed on this build. So it's 2 divine every time. It adds up. And then you craft on, I think you craft on Fizz as well. And then Veiled Chaos Orb, craft on Fizz as. And then hope for the best. This took me 2 tries to get the Socketed AoE gems. The reason you want that one, obviously because it boosts, Zealotry, Determination, but Pure Device, if you don't have level 23 Pure Device, then you can't get the plus 5% additional max cold res. Should be at 4, so I'd be at 88%. Just the little things that add up over time. Obviously, Mageblood. Boots. So it's the same concept as the other video that I have for crafting just straight up Tailwind Onslaught boots. Only this time, because I got rid of my cooldown recovery belt, I need cooldown on my boots. It's a pretty cheap craft relative to how much it would cost to buy them. Not taking into account, any of this, even the enchant, which will add a lot, or onslaught. Literally just cooldown recovery, That's not even elevated, that's just regular cooldown recovery. You know, and this is pre-league. This one's right at the start of the league, it looks like. In standard, obviously. But, you know, 100 to 300 divine. I did record how I made these, so I'll pull that up and I'll kind of walk you through the process of that. It's the same exact process as the other video that I made, but we'll go over it anyways. So, take your boots. This has the enchant that I wanted on them, and hit them with a hunter orb, and spam until you get tailwind. This cost me about 100, I think. I did some trades and stuff, but just the end of it. And once you get tailwind on there, it's a pretty simple process. First thing you want to do is make sure you have enough of the life force to craft chaos. And then you do suffixes cannot be changed. Then reforge chaos. And that will add guaranteed a hunter mod. Hit it with the orb of dominance and hope for the best. I got lucky. That was the first time that I tried it. If you watch the other video, it took me a couple tries. After that, take a sort of regular pair of boots. As long as you have tier 1 cooldown recovery, doesn't matter, it's going to re-roll the mods on it anyways, or the values. So it doesn't have to be full 15%. And hit it with an Awakener's Orb. You click this one to destroy it, slap it on that one, hope for the best. I got pretty lucky. I got tier 3 cold res. I said, you know, res is always nice to have. It did drop it down to 11%. I guess I went up from 10, but I have to get 15% on them, which sucks. I could have went for an elevated one, because then it goes to 20. With a better chance, I guess, of it going up past 15. But, you know, it is what it is. Cost me, what's it, I think 10, that was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 divines. That hurt. That hurt a lot. It's an expensive build. There's no way around it. So, and here goes 2 more. So suffixes cannot be changed again. It's a lot of divines. And Veiled Chaos Orb. This is the same concept if you want to get guaranteed move speed on anything, as long as you have suffixes and you don't have prefixes that you want to keep. You do suffixes cannot be changed, craft mana or life, doesn't matter. And then go over to old June and hope for the best. You know, there's 3 you can get. Generally, almost guaranteed to get one of them. I wanted Onslaught, so I was pretty lucky to get on the first try. And I mean, that's it. You know, go back in there and craft whatever you want. All right, so I went for increased armor and energy shield, as you can see. But I mean, you can craft, you know, whatever. You can do cannot be frozen if you want. It doesn't really affect me too much. You know, I've done wave 30 Simulacrum without this one, without increased move speed, cannot be chilled, cannot be frozen. No. It's all the same, honestly. You can go in here and you can craft cannot be frozen, because you get, the other one is increased move speed, cannot be chilled, and then increased move speed if you haven't been hit recently, but Forbidden Rite constantly hits you. So that's why this one is important. So 18% reduced mana cost of skills if you've been hit recently. So, I mean, the second you hit something, you're hitting yourself with Forbidden Rite. So your mana is literally nothing. You could, you know, I have 26 mana. I don't have a mana flask. Forbidden Rite costs 1. So with this, it fully sustains everything. I could get rid of it, and it still wouldn't have any issues with mana. So the other thing that I did change is Awakened Void Manipulation. So you can use Volley. Gives you the extra 2 projectiles. So Forbidden Rite, it fires a projectile at the target, and then it just fires extra projectiles around you. They won't hit the target that you're attacking. So if you're doing like a boss fight, something like Cyrus or whoever, Maven, those extra 8 projectiles are not going to do you any good. So you need additional projectiles. That's why the enchant on the helmet, that'll give you 2. And then Volley will give you 2 more, so it'll be 4. The sweet spot's like 5, but the Dying Sun gives you 2 additional. So Awakened Void Manipulation gives you more damage if you're just like mapping and stuff, because especially level 5 bumps it up to level 7. Skin of the Lords, you know, it boosts your Forbidden Rite another level. Get more chaos damage, increase chaos damage, stuff like that. If I'm fighting a boss, I'll usually use Volley, just because I can't keep my Dying Sun up all the time. If I'm mapping, then this is fine, because this will pretty much stay up the whole time. Since it's the only flask that takes charges. So, quick note on how flasks work, because you didn't know. It evenly distributes the charges that you receive throughout your flasks, and because these don't receive any charges, then they all go to this. So when you're mapping, it'll constantly fill up. And then if you have it on hit a rare unique enemy or use when charges reach full, it'll constantly be up while you're mapping. When you're fighting a boss, however, and it's just you versus one other person, you know, once it's empty, it's empty. You can actually get a mod on your Watcher's Eye where you gain a flash charge every time you do a critical strike if you're affected by precision. It's an extra one. It's super expensive. The mandatory mod for this build, and really any CI build, Chaos Inoculation, your life is 1. So energy shield is all you got. 29 energy shield per enemy hit. Goes up to 30, but divines are expensive, obviously. I could divine it and try to get more energy shield, but then I could go down to 20, and that per hit adds up. Because, you know, Purifying Flame hits, Ball Lightning hits, and then it calls as well. Some of the other things that changed, I dropped my Replica Conqueror's efficiency because I don't need it. I don't need the extra negative mana cost. I never thought that would be a thing, but with this and this, I don't need it at all, which is nice. Corrupted Blood sucks. I'm not immune to bleeding, so if I'm spinning around and start bleeding, you can keep spinning. You just stop moving, and then you'll be fine. I just got one with increased chaos damage and increased crit multi. That's pretty much it. I changed this one out to just get 2 with a prismatic carapace, which gives me another +1 to all elemental resistances. You know, you can do with this what you want. If you don't really care about that extra +1, it's fine. I just rolled it until I got that and some armor and attributes, because I'm right on the money on my dexterity. I need exactly 121, so that 3 is exactly what I need. That's the same one here for Righteous Path. I don't have Uncompromising for increased mana reservation efficiency for determination. Because of this, that's 18 plus 16. It helps a lot. I could probably drop one of these, maybe, but I need the dexterity, obviously. Can't really get anywhere else because, unfortunately, you're not really close to any of the 30 dexterity nodes. Points are key in this game and in this build specifically, so having to waste 2 points to come down to here. This one, 2, 3 to get to that one. It's just not worth it. All right, so we'll go over to the path of building here and see what we got here. 15 million DPS aside from Dying Sun, obviously. Even without it, you're doing 11. It doesn't seem like a lot compared to some of the videos, some of the build guides that you see on on the YouTube, but that's nice. My crit multi is pretty low. I'd like to get it up to 500, but you know, I'm doing just fine. And you can too. Really not that difficult. It's just expensive. You know, it's not a super intricate build. Just, you know, some of the builds that I've tried to follow, especially when I first started. You know, there's so many intricate, in-depth things that you have to make the build work. With this one, you literally just need Awaken Cast on Critical Strike. It's kind of expensive. Check on standard. You know, it's 5 divine. So, Wandra, 100 chaos. So, you need to get level 5. You can go for level 6 if you want, but you don't need it. But so, once you get it to level 5, if you get a level 5 one, the Skin of the Lords is what makes the big difference. So it gives you 5 more levels, which puts it at level 10. So if you look down there, it says, second one down from the bottom, or up from the bottom, it's 37% increased cooldown recovery rate. So you need to get 52%, which is why I had to have 15 on this one. And what that will do is when you pull up Path of Building and you put everything in there, you pull up mine, you have your power charges, you don't have frenzy charges, make sure Onslaught, Tailwind, Elusive doesn't mess with your attack speed, but Withering Step gives you Elusive. You have your trigger rate right here, 9.48. So that can't go above 10.1. If it does, then your damage goes down. So I got 2 frenzy charges, be 9.99. I can't get frenzy charges because of this. I can get minimum frenzy charges and it'll count technically. I just can't gain them. So if I got, you know, +1 frenzy charges, chance to gain frenzy charge on hit, it doesn't work. It'll just continue to help me get power charges. But for the sake of the demonstration, if I could, I was able to get, you know, +2 minimum frenzy charges somehow. It would be a 9.9. If I got 3, puts me at 9.85, and then my damage actually starts to go down the more frenzy charges that I get. That's cast on crit in a nutshell, I guess. There's certain breakpoints that you have to hit. You always want to go for 52%. That's how you get the most damage. As far as skills go, you know, kind of went over them, but nothing really changed. Got Divergent Purifying Flame, just extra Consecrated Ground. Do that with a cast when damage taken, level 1. Culling Strike can be, you know, level 20. You don't really need them to do damage. You just need them to hit something when they're when the enemy's under 10%, and it'll kill it. Anomalous Zealotry just helps with a little bit of crit multi. Determination, you don't need Anomalous Determination on this version of the build. If you're struggling with being stunned, then go for Anomalous. Level 4 Enlighten. Same thing, Tempest Shield. Level 3 Enlighten. I could go for level 4. Mana's at 26. Knock me up to 40, but I really don't. I'd probably get away with like 2 mana, and that'd be fine. You can see Forbidden Rites 1. Cyclones 1. Assassin's Mark is 0. So I said it's regular Assassin's Mark, Anomalous Withering Step, which gives you extra debuffs based on quality, and then Anomalous Mark on hit, reduce mana cost. If I take that off, go to Assassin's Mark, it costs 6. So Anomalous drops it down to 0. Same thing, Bow Molten Shell, level 20/20 on the left click. Flame Dash, Defiance Banner, and then increased duration on Molten Shell. Right here. So I was kind of messing with the damage numbers on this. With Volley and no Dying Sun, you get 11 million damage. With Dying Sun, or with Awakened Void Manipulation, you get 10.5. Because it takes into account all primary projectiles. So without that, without Volley, it's giving you the 1 plus the 1 on my helm for the enchant. If I turn on Dying Sun, it's 17 million damage. And it actually goes down with Volley, because then you're doing 6, and like I said, 5's the sweet spot. So, you know, you just gotta kind of play with it. Either way works, you know. If you get to this point, you can't afford a Awakened Void Manipulation, just run Volley. It's fine. And then Despair on hit. Items, going over all those. Nothing's really changed since the last build. Or the configuration, you know, I'm always on full energy shield, really. I'm always leeching. I have 7 power charges. Tailwind elusive. Flask active. Doesn't really change anything on here. Crit recently, have been hit recently. Always getting hit. I'm channeling Cyclone just so it shows me how my move speed is. If I'm not channeling, it's 181%. Then Guardian Pinnacle boss. Uber Pinnacle, I'm still doing 3 million. So, you know, not terrible. I can do 100% delirious maps somehow, even though it says I'm only doing 452,000 damage. I can do them, you know. Level 30 or wave 30 Simulacrum. I can burn through 100% delirious maps. Juiced, corrupted. You know, as long as I don't have something, mods or reduce cooldown recovery. Cannot leech. That's a rough one. Those are pretty much the only ones that I avoid, honestly. Cannot regenerate. That one kind of sucks. You can still leech, so you just got to kind of move around and be careful with your mana. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a long video. It's a very in-depth build. Takes a lot to get it to a certain point, but it is overall, relatively speaking, compared to a lot of builds that I've tried to play in the past, fairly simple in terms of Path of Exile, and it's the most fun build I've ever played. You know, I have a 400 or 500 Exalt at the time tornado shot build that I played, and it's just so much more fun, so tanky. It's just nice to be able to, you know, roll up to Uber Cortex and just sit there. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I'll leave you with my first feared kill ever. First wave 30 Simulacrum ever. Trialmaster, Uber Cortex, and flawless Chayula. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Face your destruction. Be no